4 times.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How about now?
Yeah, okay. That's better.
All right. So Leslie and I are going to be looking at the Venus Jupiter trine. Ooh. All right. Let's get started. Can you tell me a bit about like where you live?
I live in New York. I am upstate for the summer writing a memoir, but I moved to New York City at the end of February.
You're writing a memoir. Very good.
hmm
What about?
Grief, loss, and transformation.
Okay. Can you say more about all of that?
Yeah. I gave a TED talk in the fall that was about all of this and the idea of kind of like grief, like letting grief be your guide rather than letting it chase you, and what that looks like in terms of like when you um allow your life to unfold in this more like consciously aware way rather than just kind of like following things on autopilot. And also like that grief doesn't disappear. And this was from my own grief experience. Of course, everyone's is, unique and separate, but I just felt like the conversation needed to be had in a more public forum. So I decided to apply for this residency that is ongoing through the summer, that to focus on writing my memoir and like sort of thinking about the grief guide that I would have wanted to have after my mom died. But it has like, I don't know, a little bit of like humor and lightness, and it's can be picked up and read by anyone. At least that's what I hope when I finish it slash write it. So
Okay, the memoir itself, of course, I feel in the fourth house because you're reflecting on your experiences and things that have happened to you. So it's very personal.
hmm
The Jupiter in the 12th, I'm feeling in the levity of addressing grief and also in the writing because it's Virgo. So it's ruled
yeah.
by Mercury. So I'm starting to pick that up.
hmm
Um, Also, the process of letting go of someone, the 12th house. And so, in your case, that there's a memoir coming from it. There, I feel the Jupiter and Virgo in the 12th, that's how you're processing, is by writing about it, sharing it with the world. Even giving a TED talk makes me think about Virgo.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's like it changed my entire life, obviously personally, but also professionally as well. Like I wouldn't be an astrologer if she was alive. There's just no way. I mean, maybe that's not true. It's not there's no way, but the path would have unfolded rather differently, I think. So yeah, I would say that this is my entire sort of life since has been about honoring and processing, but not like ruminating. Like I'm not a sad, I mean, obviously I get sad and I feel all my emotions, and I think that they're very like complex and depth filled and all these different things. I'm a multifaceted person, but and also I'm not like I'm not mired in grief or stuck in grief. Like I feel like it feels cathartic to process for me.
Okay, I'm feeling the Venus Jupiter in that,
Yeah.
the fourth, 12th, yeah. Cathartic grief,
hmm
leveling up, like enjoying the experience, kind of making a lot from it.
I
So,
don't know if enjoying is like necessarily. I think it's like making I have the ability to see like to go through like really tough things and not hate the world because of it.
okay. That's making me think about Venus and Capricorn.
Yeah,
And Capricorn being like the realities of life.
right.
So Venus there being a bit more like open and kind of curious about that. You said you're doing a residency
Yep.
in New York.
Yep.
Um when I hear upstate, I also hear nature. I don't know, is it natural where you are?
Yeah.
Okay. Say more about that.
Uh it is like I'm in a very tiny town that doesn't have service unless you're connected to Wi-Fi. I've met the local historian I several times. I know all of the owners by name. The grocery store recognizes me as the girl who want what they call me, ginger dressing, because I went in there looking for ginger dressing one time. It's like very, very, very local, very small. It's along the water. It's really quite cute. And I have been going down to this gazebo by the water and writing this week because writing and working because I haven't really found a space to that like motivates me to write and work until I went down to this gazebo and started writing. So I've been writing outside in nature pretty much
Yeah.
every.
Okay. Do you see the Venus, Jupiter, and the Earth signs there in the
Yeah,
fourth, 12th?
yeah,
Okay, I'm especially feeling Venus in the fourth, where you say that you know everybody that's there in the small town,
yeah,
and it also has no cell service, Capricorn, and you know the local historian,
yeah.
Capricorn, but
I
also
know.
Venus, Jupiter, right? So historian for me is like also like a very smart person who has a lot of information, lots of books, writes things, right? So there I feel the Jupiter and Virgo, the
Yeah,
specific person that you're buddy with in the town. And again, the gazebo for me is like the Jupiter in the 12th Virgo too. A place like away from home, away from people where you can write.
yeah.
What's special about the gazebo? Why does that inspire you in that space?
It's it has outlets and it's not my bedroom and it's outside. I honestly think that that's it. Like I'm going back to New York City in August and I was like, shit, I gotta find my gazebo equivalent there to like ride outside and just like be sort of motivated and then not feel like cut off by resources as in like I can there are outlets. I can plug it in and just keep working and work limitlessly.
Limitlessly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay. Not being limited by that. Okay, so so this writing is really taking over. Like you're enjoy like it's
It is and it isn't. Like I haven't done as much as I would have expected me to do, but I've been really preoccupied, I would say, both emotionally and then also professionally with just stuff going on. And also, my nervous system just like kind of gave way basically the first 2 weeks I was here, where I was so tired and then I got sick. And then I was just like, okay, here we go. Because I think that at the hustle and bustle of moving and then being in New York City and then traveling and all these other things, and then I just came upstate. And this is probably the first time in a long time that I haven't had big summer plans in terms of weddings or travel or anything like that. And I'm kind of staying,
uh-huh.
yeah, I'm staying pretty local. I mean, I am going back to New York City this weekend for next week. And then I going back to New York City for a couple weeks in July. And then I'll be back in August permanently. And I might go to Australia this fall. But other than that, I don't have any plans on the horizon to
Okay,
do
so you're
anything.
usually having some kind of plans to go somewhere with someone,
Yeah,
weddings.
always.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm feeling the Venus Jupiter in that.
Yeah. I mean, I think that um I love to travel. I feel like it's the best way that I get to express myself. And then also I just that's how I like to spend my money.
Um,
But I'm
okay,
trying really hard this summer to not spend money on travel, to be sort of more locally locked in and to commit to the work that I have set out to do.
okay. The traveling makes me think a lot about your Aquarius stellium that we don't have up. Especially
Yeah.
the Moon Mercury conjunction in Aquarius.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, I'm picking up some like a grandma character.
Yeah. What about?
I don't know. Do you have a grandma that you were close with that taught you a lot of stuff?
I have two grandmas. They're both still alive, actually. Um, one I am not as close with, but we're close, and then the other one I'm really close with. Yes.
Okay.
She is, yeah, like I said, she's still alive. She used to travel a lot. She doesn't travel anymore, as much or really ever. But she has a very full life. And she was my mom's mom. She is my mom's mom.
Uh-huh. And did you learn a lot from her? Did you spend time with her? Was she a storyteller?
Um,
Did she open you to a lot of things, like introduce you to different?
I think I'm opening her to things actually.
Okay.
Um, I I don't know if either of them really did. I mean, I think that they both traveled a lot for sure, but and one is like the other one that I'm not as close to is more culturally kind of aware though in her older age. She's definitely become decidedly less so, but no, I feel like I am opening them, pushing the
Okay.
bounds. It was first I pushed the bounds of like being the first Democrat in the family, and then, now I've pushed the bounds of being the first astrologer in the family.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's
Um,
kind of a joke, but it's also not. It's true. So,
the first Democrat.
yeah.
So your family is kind of conservative
No,
Republican.
no, 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 not at all anymore. But this is like when I was 16, maybe 14. I don't know. I remember I like had to come out to my family as a Democrat because my grandfather was really entrenched in the Republican Party. I'm from Tennessee, so it's like not that surprising. And then my great uncle was a senator and part of the Reagan cabinet. And
Aha.
yeah, and he passed away. But there was this whole Republican paradigm on both sides of my parents. And then I was like, I don't I don't believe in this. And I came out as a Democrat. I think I was 14, maybe 16. Then my sisters did. And then my dad switched parties. My mom switched parties. They switched pretty much together. My Republican grandfather and Republican grandmother also switched parties. Pretty much everyone in my family switched parties, except for my mom's mom, who was deeply conservative, and my mom's brother, who is also deeply conservative. So her side of the family, I don't even really politically engage that much unless they want to talk about an issue, not
I
the president itself. Yeah.
see. Okay. So, okay, I get it now. So I can imagine when there's talking, it's always like discussing the different platforms and what these people have accomplished and what they're saying and what bills they're drafting and what they want to put into I'm kind of getting this like political talk environment.
It's honestly, it's become a lot less because it's hard to talk about for them, and honestly for me.
Mm,
I had a fight with my grandmother about immigrant. She just kept bringing up. I went to visit her in January, and she kept bringing up immigration policy. And then finally, like there was one day where she kept, you know, baiting or fishing, and I baited or whatever. And then we got into it a bit because I was trying to keep it like as analytical and objective and historical as possible. But I did say that something. I think I said Trump changed the US political landscape, which is a pretty objective statement. Like, if you look anywhere in politics in 10 years, in the last 10 years, like, it's changed based on what it was. And he has a large part to do with that. And she got very upset about that and said that I had Trump derangement syndrome and yada yada and so on and so forth. And so I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna have this conversation because like if we can't agree on that simple tenet, then I can't do it. And that was disappointing for me because I felt like before that, and I think this is partly just her getting older, watching more Fox News, it getting more sensationalized, and also me getting a little bit more stubborn and not stubborn, but more passionate in my beliefs. And that's not wrong. I think that as I'm Libra rising, I'm a very both sides person and like really analytical, very comprehensive, like very much need to know kind of all the information before I share anything. But in this current political climate in the United States, I have just become more and more disenchanted with the other side that it's hard for me to find any sort of justification or right or reason for it as I can't. I just can't. And so Yeah, that presents an issue for me as well professionally because I used to write this political blog. I still do, but a little bit less so. And it was the value of it comes from the ability to like report information without bias. And I think that after it's just gotten harder and harder because I just vehemently disagree with what's going on.
Okay, I'm feeling your Aquarius so much, especially
Yeah.
the Sun Saturn and everything you're describing. See, it's but that's okay. I'm feeling the Venus Jupiter on a very different level. Let's say Venus and Capricorn in the fourth is that you come from a family that you care about and get along with, that is kind of like establishment. There's like the old people, the old guard, they used to be republic. So I'm hearing a lot of that Capricorn, but then the Jupiter and Virgo for me is very strong in you because it's like in order to defend your tenets or your beliefs to your family and have those political conversations, inevitably you have to be thoroughly educated and understand and be able to present a case and an argument, right? So for me, that the amount of study that it takes to become competent is the Jupiter and Virgo. And
Yeah.
like you said, that you need all the information, like, and I guess it's fun for you to collect information, organize it, structure it, make it neat, make it presentable, be able to show it to people. Like that's kind of the image, the visual I'm getting now.
Yeah, I would say that it's I really I do and also I don't anymore, or at least I've found that I get like frustrated where I don't like to speak on a topic unless I know everything about it. But and also I really don't want to dig into the politics every single day and like be able I just don't enjoy it anymore in the same way I used to. But yeah, I agree with that. And I think that sort of thesis is undergirds like my entire life, you know, like not just the political stuff, but the spiritual stuff, the astrological stuff, the all of these other things. I did a I my thing in my work has been like to get people smart, like get smart is like what it's called. And it's like SMARTT because that's my middle name. And it is essentially a way to kind of like teach something that's more like comprehensive in nature. So like I can teach anything. If I can learn and teach anything, which has been a really valuable skill in my life, and something that has really served me professionally. But I think that in this political climate, I get really frustrated with having to like dig into everything comprehensively because it's just like it's a velocity issue and then it's also just like a bullshit issue. Um, so yeah.
What is what does it mean a velocity issue?
There's this idea of like muzzle velocity where basically they're just trying to push out as much information as possible to keep you distracted.
Ah,
And
okay, I see.
it's less effective now. When the administration first came in the second time around, I was writing I was trying to do a comprehensive report of every single thing they did that week, every
Okay,
single week.
do you hear the Jupiter and Virgo?
Yes, I know. And so I really tried to move away from that. Like really, really, really. But I also it's like it's deeply a part of
Yeah,
me to need to know
and the
everything that
comprehensive report, I feel the Venus in Capricorn a
yeah,
lot.
I know. I mean, I'm well aware and it's a huge flaw because then I like basically need everything to be perfect before I can submit it or write it or publish it and all that. And I think about this Jupiter and Virgo all the time, because it is like very much, I am like a huge perfectionist on my own stuff, which then leads to me procrastinating. So I try and do something, if not every day, multiple times a week, that makes me have to challenge that need to be so comprehensive and so perfect.
Interesting.
Yeah, it is the
I
story
will
of my
say,
life.
I will say that you have the Sun and Moon conjunct Saturn.
Yeah.
That comes up for me also for the need for perfection, things to be totally comprehensive.
Yeah.
Also for you to lead with authority, but real, genuine authority, right? The pressure from that, the Sun Saturn.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but we're not there. Um,
We can be
okay,
there. It's okay.
I know. I just Okay. The other part of this is okay, because you said that you do policy strategy.
Hmm.
Can you just say like what does that mean in practice? Can you give an
Yeah,
example?
it's like okay, so like I do you want like the astrology example or
No,
non-astrology
just give
example?
me, we're just looking at this kind of trine and we're focusing on the information you're going to share.
Yeah, so I mean honestly, I think that that's sort of what I've been trying to figure out is like what that looks like in offering and practice. Right now, it's like people use me to learn things and like to advise them. So I have in the past like I put together a like a learning sessions and a white paper on sustainable mobility in emerging technology space in Tennessee and the world for or Tennessee the nation in the world for a startup incubator. And then I've done a 40-page single space white paper on women and wealth and what it means for the next generation and like the wealth transfer and did
Do you
that.
hear the Capricorn in that?
Huh?
Do you hear the Capricorn in
Yeah,
that?
absolutely. No,
Okay.
and that's I mean it's all over for sure. Because even the stuff like the sustainable mobility, like I did it from a regulatory and legislative lens.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And I hear
And
the Capricorn in that as well.
right. Well, I mean, that's why I like look at my own chart. I'm like, even if I didn't believe in astrology, I would have to because like mine's so insane where it's been this like it's so much Capricorn, it's so much politics, and then so much Aquarius where it's like so much a need to like break through the existing structures and systems and innovate, but like not sure how to do it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And that's where I feel like my Pluto journey is, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah. Because it's just beginning for you, because Pluto hasn't even reached 6 degrees yet.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's I met with
Well, okay.
someone.
So what does that tell us? Like, do you have some kind of political ambition? Do you see a new path for yourself? Are you walking towards something? What is your goal?
I have a lot of political ambitions, but it's not to run for office. It's to change the entire like political infrastructure. And I was thinking about this even this morning. Like I just think that like and also my work, like a lot of my I mean, I love the astrology piece of my work. I love helping people. I love being able to kind of get them on and you're gonna laugh, at least like the way that I use astrology is I use it to like create a like strategic plan, right? So like I'll go and do this like really spiritual thing and then but like I focus on like mostly like vocational astrology. So like helping people through
Okay,
like career stuff
the
and
Earth sign.
yeah, and then I will help them like I will come up with a strategic plan for like how to address that. And then we kind of come up with a I meet with them and do like an accountability coach type thing and then help them come up with strategies and like, sometimes I'll do research and writing and all of that stuff. So it's like and I love it. I really, really love it. And also the political piece I love too, because I really like I like working on campaigns and thinking about strategy. And I have accumulated so much knowledge from just like not doing things like I don't know. It's just like they're from like even like not learning. I'm still learning kind of thing. Like even if I'm like doom scrolling and on social media, it ends up being like a lot of like really useful information that I can bring into another space. Um, and I like being able to. It's not even necessarily trying to like manipulate elections. It's not that at all. It's more so helping them try and understand like what are their blocks and what are the things that can come up on the campaign trail and what are the things that are precluding them from, connecting with voters and like what do voters actually want. And
It's
I
making me
really
think
like
of
having
the
that
fourth
like
house a
insight
lot.
of, huh?
That's making me think about the fourth house a lot, right? Your
Yeah,
country, your people, especially Tennessee, when you were thinking
yeah,
about doing and it's
yeah,
all structural.
yeah, for sure. But then it's like, I like, I like being able to be like, I don't know, like you think astrology is fucking dumb. Well, I'm a political astrologer and I'm going to not only help you, with this like strategy and I'm the best in like what I mean, I'm not saying I'm the best. I don't have that big of an ego, but like I've worked my fucking ass off to be able to like do what I can do. And then being able to infuse astrology into that, like I think it's so fun and so cool. So yeah, it's very much it's not surprising when you read my chart and you talk to me. You're like, oh yeah, okay.
Right, all the policy stuff that you want to do in the background, also I'm feeling in Jupiter and Virgo.
Some of
In
it's not
the,
even necessarily that I want to do as much of that anymore. It's just more so that I'm good at it and it pays the bills.
Mhm.
You know, like I mean the astrology stuff is paying the bills more and more increasingly, but I mean I basically lost I was in Tennessee for a long like 4 years. Before that I was in Boston and DC, but I wasn't doing the astrology until Tennessee. And then Tennessee I had, or at least practicing. After I gave the TED talk, it like things kind of blew up, but I had already decided to move to New York. And so I moved to New York at the end of February, basically like burnt down I mean, I still have like Tennessee clients and contacts and all that stuff, but I had to rebuild my entire network in New York. So that's where I've been. And then I came upstate. So it's been, it's been delayed a bit, but yeah, definitely I don't remember why I was saying, but yeah, no, so like the policy piece of like from Tennessee has been sort of carrying me and allowing me to build up astrological communities in New York.
Yeah, this is making me think you're just interested in how things run, like how things work, even like manufacturing.
Yeah, I am interested in how things work. And like I would have been a great lawyer because I really like rules and regulations and like being able to parse through
Yeah.
them. And um I can like really get it. Like I really dig into systems and structures.
Yeah, like making yeah, totally. I'm seeing you like making courses, making systems for people, writing
Yeah.
systems. Do you work with computers? Did you write code as well?
I didn't, but I really would like to learn Python.
Yeah.
So I've just been trying to learn Python.
Yes, totally. And reading lots of books and manuals.
Yeah, I haven't read as much lately because I feel like I'm just reading all the time. Like I haven't read for fun lately because I feel like I'm just reading all the time.
Yeah,
Uh,
like white papers, how things work.
yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, and I love being I don't know, at the forefront of thinking about things. Like I'm really interested right now in nuclear fusion. I think
Yeah, I
because
was thinking sustainability.
yeah, and I'm like yeah, normally that's not my brand. Like I found climate change policy to be kind of boring. I just didn't like enjoy talking about it, but that's changed a lot. So because I think that
Mm,
the way that I think about climate now is way different than I did, 5, 10 years ago, where it is not just a foregone conclusion and like the doom of our future. It's more so this exists and like this is affecting us right the fuck now. And it's not near, it's here kind of thing. Um, and I'm just like, we have to figure out some way to talk about it and ways to do it. And that's what I actually really enjoy too on the political strategy front is like being able to frame conversations and do
mm,
things in a way that's palatable to multiple audiences. So like
yeah.
my sweet spot is being able to take a really liberal, democratic, progressive idea and make it practical for the other side,
Okay.
which I think is what I do with astrology for like the haters. I make it sound practical because of the way that I came across
Feels
it
like
from
you would be a
politics
very
and all that.
good project manager as well.
I can't go get a full-time job. Can't work for someone else. But
Mm.
in what sense do you mean?
And also, are you into like agriculture at all? Like, maybe not even for yourself personally, but it feels like natural resources and just like understanding the resources of Tennessee or of the US.
No, not really, but I think I will be.
Yeah, I feel you being very interested in like the history of the local place and like understanding as much as possible about a town or a city or a population, what they need, what structures need to be built. Education feels like really important as well.
Yeah, I don't know. It's really tough for me because I feel like I'm on this like mega spiritual journey and it's like infused itself into my work and my daily life. And then also I think that there's like a real need to fix things. And
Ooh,
yeah,
yes.
I just want to figure out how to do it and what my role in it is.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I feel like what I say when I talk to people is they're like, how do these two things compute? I'm like, well, the way that I found them is how I compute it. But which I like, I don't even know if I said this, but like my way of finding astrology was through trying to understand political decision making and like how politicians make decisions. So that's how I started thinking about like I wanted a compass for understanding that and like their parameters. And then that's how I use it now for just broadly for people. But um, I also am like trying to address health and like what it means to live a long, healthy life from an individual, multi-level, organizational approach. So like that's where I see like the individual is like the astrology and being able to like have more self-efficacy over your own health. I see the organizational as more kind of like working with companies and or like nonprofits and helping advise them and helping them kind of like both improve their health internally and then also thinking externally about like innovation and improvement and stuff. And then I see it going beyond that and working with like bigger clients in terms of thinking about their own roles as executives and like what their responsibility is of being a person in that seat essentially.
I'm hearing the 12th house in that something much more spiritual and moral,
Yeah,
and the Virgo Capricorn, and literally everything that you're saying.
I know. I
Yeah.
like I said, it's like I'm like the easiest person to read because my chart is so concentrated,
Yeah.
but it also makes it difficult because I am constantly kind of like trying to figure out like who I am versus who I was and how those things relate and like what to let go of and what to keep on and what to integrate and what needs to be removed and who to work with and who to not. But I think that's part of the experience is just experiencing.
Yeah, I'm feeling the Sun Saturn especially and all of that.
Well, I am a very Saturn ruled baby, as you can see.
Totally. Yeah. Okay, good. Let's stop there for today.
So what are you trying to do? You're just trying to like feel into an aspect and like channel essentially?
I saw a gap, which is that many people, well, it's missing. This information is missing from the internet. So it's actually just about understanding that even if you look at a single aspect, there's so much happening within that single aspect. There's lots to talk about, lots to discover, and it's one way of looking at self is one aspect at a time. But that's still connecting more than just looking at a single placement by itself. So it's more
Yeah,
about starting to pair and think about things in combination rather
sure.
than just how does something work alone. I had another podcast I just finished, it has almost 80 episodes. And for that one, I was doing the entire chart, and that felt like it's too complex for people. And so this is very easy to
Yeah.
manage. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean,
Uh,
I think that also like aspects tend to repeat themselves or like the information tends to repeat itself. Like if you see something in like one aspect of someone's chart, it's going to come up like three or four different times, two to three different times in that same chart.
that's
You know,
right. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I use aspects. I don't focus on them like as heavily as other people do. Because to your point, I'm like, me talking to a client being like, Uranus is square your Mercury, what have you, is like not going to mean any fucking thing to them.
Okay.
You
Interesting.
know? Yeah. I mean, but I think that you're onto something and doing like one at a time. Because I think that if you're getting information overload in a reading as a client, you're like, what does square even mean? And like explaining the aspects is honestly, in my opinion, one of the hardest parts of astrology.
Okay, going through that process together, did you feel like you were feeling the Venus Jupiter, like you entered that stream?
Um, I feel like I mean, what do you mean? Like in terms of just like knowing like what it meant in my life?
No, the idea is that once we start talking, it's kind of like we're entering a Venus Jupiter stream, and then
Mm.
you start to kind of associate many things in your life just with that aspect. Rather than looking at all the other stuff, it kind of cuts the noise and zeroes you in.
Yeah, I mean, I think that mine might be a little bit more difficult in that regard, only because those are the two things I look at the most, and I should have probably thought about that before we picked that. Because that Jupiter is in Virgo, is in the 12th
Yeah,
house, is in its fall, and I do think about it a lot in terms of like what is it precluding me from doing? And how do I like move out of that? And then Venus being my ruling planet, I found that that's the hardest until I really dug into the meaning of the fourth house. That was the hardest for me to understand because I was like, yeah, I could be a great interior designer, but that's not what I'm gonna do.
right.
You know, um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I do understand what you're saying, and I think that I think about them a lot. So yes, I think about them and how they show up in my life all the freaking time. But
So,
yeah, the Aquarius stellium I think about a lot too, but it's like again, Aquarius is also one of those things that has like 18 different meanings.
yeah, well, 1,000 or 10,000
Yeah,
even.
right? Like I'm choosing
Yeah,
18
I
because
know.
it's
So
a
I
small,
know.
big number.
Okay, I'm gonna stop recording, and then you and I can just chat for a couple more minutes, okay? So
Okay.
to everyone here, Leslie and I are signing out. Goodbye.